See how this works here. Yeah, I wish I had the camera higher, but oh well. It's not too bad. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm sitting here from a secure, undisclosed location. Wow, is that a here? Goodness gracious. Horrible. From a secure, undisclosed location in south central Montana, somewhere north of Dillon and south of Helena. And we've got some real good cooks we're staying with. I can tell you, man, the food has been good here. And temperatures have been, I don't know, down about 10 degrees for the lows and 35 or something for the highs. And hi, Cherokee, how's it going? And the Minor Bago, we when we're next to someplace where we could hook into power, we got an electric heater. Hi, Mankel, how's it going? And when we're not, we have one of them little buddy heaters. I've rigged up a thing to put it in there and keeps us nice and warm. So last night I say it went down about 10 degrees. Wind was going pretty good at times. I mean, 10, 20 miles an hour all night long. So pretty chilly outside, and we were fine in the Bago there. It's been running fine. Got pretty hot coming up the there's a grade out of Phoenix headed up to Cordes Junction, and the head temperature got pretty high there. It was in the red, and the coolant was 235, and Cherokee, I'm confused about that. Just a second. And so at that point, I decided to avoid the Verde Valley grade and got off the I-17 there. And we diverted through Prescott and Ash Fork, and then through Flagstaff up to Page. Never got hot again. Didn't have a problem. Was running a little weak up there at those high altitudes, 7,000 feet. Spent the night in Page, woke up the next morning with a flat tire on the trailer. The rim had gotten a crack in it, and luckily the tire shop there at Page had a used trailer rim, so that was $50 and $20 for the tire swap, but no big deal. And then we headed out the next day through southern Utah and northern Arizona to Hurricane. And yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I like that. And the road there, it's pretty flat. You know, once you get to Page, there's a big grade going up to Page, but after that, you cross the bridge and it's just a straight shot till you get just before Hurricane, where there's a, I don't know, try it, see what happens. Well, it's kind of a 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other, isn't it? And you tell me, do you like more light or left light? So anyhow, Eva tried driving a little bit there between Page and Kanab, and she didn't like herding that that rig. The Minor Bago, I mean, it's a full-size truck with a camper, and it's a little bit, got a lot of momentum to it. But boy, you put that trailer on it, and it gets a little sway and bouncy, and you hit a bump and it's roll. It doesn't feel solid. You know what I mean? I'm kind of used to it. Eva was not happy, so I took back over. Coming down into Hurricane, there is a real steep grade at 7% for a couple of miles, And for some reason, it doesn't really want to downshift into first when we're going downhill. And then I was riding the brakes a little more than I wanted, but not too bad. Got to the bottom, you could smell them, so that's not a not a strange thing to expect there. I've been that route before. I know what to expect. We drove on to Meadow overpass there on the I-15 in Utah and stopped for the night. Hi, Smoking. Hi, Lito. And yeah, exactly. You just kind of hold the wheel straight, Chris, and let it settle down. We got to Meadow. It was a little after dark. Our next stop was off, on the secondary roads. Called him up, and he said there might be ice or deer. So we just decided to stay at the truck stop in Meadow. And then the next morning, get up and head on out. And it looked like winter. There was kind of an ice fog. Everything from mild to pretty serious for a little bit. Snow on the ground. Everything was frozen. But it worked out okay. And bull snakes galore. I don't think there's any snakes out anywhere around here right now. Maybe you were talking about hurricane. Could be. And polygamous too, yeah. But so we went and visited Lucas, and his family does some cattle ranching and they raise pheasants for hunters and stuff. And so we spent the day there, hooked up at an electrical outlet, which was nice. Had pheasant for dinner, which I've never had before, and it was really tasty but tough. And the propane stove decided that the regulator wanted to freeze in those temperatures, which made cooking dinner a little bit challenging. I had to move it all inside just to get it to work again right. And the day we spent there with Lucas was real fun. Eva spent a lot of time on a farm with her grandma when she was a kid, and so they were talking cows and heifers and this and that. No, I didn't, Chris. And so I say we had a good day there. We would have stayed another day and had some more fun, but the weather was coming in slow. We were planning on Thursday spending there in Utah because there was supposed to be snow moving in on Thursday, according to the previous weather report. Of course, the weatherman was wrong. So it was coming in Thursday night. They were looking at maybe getting some weather up in Idaho. So we decided to, and then after that was like Friday and Saturday, snow. It's like, okay, we're going to take off. So we left about 8 o'clock in the morning and just drove on through. And it's a darn good thing we did. We got to the Monida Pass on I-15, southern Montana. As we were climbing up, the snow just started coming down. And it was coming down pretty good at times. Visibility dropped maybe to 100 feet. But the road had been dry and cold before it started. So the traction was just fine all the way through. No slip sliding or nothing. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to cook it slow there. But yeah, that would be good. And so we got over Monida Pass in the snow. But most of the time you could see the lane markings. It was that thin of snow. Never had traction problems, came down the other side and continued on to Dillon, Montana. And again, spent the night there because our next stop was again up a secondary road, etc. And we thought we'd just go ahead and wait. I was also pretty tired. I'd been driving, another long day. And herding that beluga trailer. Call it that because it's white whale. It just kind of takes it out of me because I'm just constantly just, having to focus and little small corrections. Every semi truck that comes past you goes, really, really annoying. Hello, Kevin. It was a beautiful bird. I don't think I've ever seen feathers as gorgeous as on that pheasant. Now, maybe a peacock would give it a run for its money, but damn, close up, those things are even more beautiful than they are from far away. So then from Dillon, we did a little resupply, filled all the gas tanks, propane tanks, a little bit more food, and then came up here to our secure, undisclosed location north of Dillon, south of Helena. And been spent, let's see, 2 days here now, I think. And my host has some mining equipment, this and that. So we were able to actually do a test today with some of the Montana B ore on an RP4 shaker table. And to short the video a little bit, it didn't work real well, which is what I expected. It's some really, really tough stuff to get. Yeah, Earl, it was a beautiful view. It is a beautiful view. It's right out there, right out that window. But we're headed off to Helena tomorrow. We've got accommodation should be available. And should be, 3 or 4, hours of driving to get there and offloading and this and that and the other. Negative, Chris. It didn't work as well as my concentrator, which is what I expected. The RP46 I'd expect to work well, about 100 mesh up. And since so much of this stuff is in the 500 mesh and down, it's kind of below the marginal range for an RP4, I believe. Anyhow, so we went up and looked at some mines up here too. That's what the video was yesterday. And we've had some great hospitality here, both Lucas and our anonymous by design hosts here, have been very, very hospitable, which I'm really getting used to on the road. When people invite me somewhere, they're usually pretty serious about being hospitable. So I enjoy it. But I will tell you, we had some steaks last night that were beyond kick-ass. I mean, those were some ribeyes. This dude, he knows how to season and cook his ribeyes. They were literally the best steaks I've ever had. They might be tied for Daisy Mays in Tucson. It's been a while since I've had Daisy Mays, but they are at least as good as anything I have ever had. So that was fantastic. And the evening before, it was some kind of chicken cream thing with pasta. I'm not sure what it was, but it was damn good too. So as I say, we've had a good time, fairly safe trip, a little stressful along the road at times, just trying to beat weather, get someplace before dark, things like that. Not bad. That first run up from Phoenix where it was getting hot, that wasn't much fun. And say it wasn't a bad trip in terms of the driving. It wasn't a great trip. Scenery was good. The snow, for some reason, it just makes stuff look really cool. It also makes it look pretty cool. We also ran into, it was also, wasn't snowing right when we went through, but there was a little slush on the road south of Pocatello that made me nervous hauling that trailer. So again, tomorrow up to Helena, get settled in, get unpacked, get lined out. I'm not sure exactly. Hey, Lucas, how's it going? Thank you so much for all the the hospitality. Sorry we couldn't stay another day, but we leaving when we did was what we needed to do because we just barely made it through Oneida Pass. If it snowed that much for another hour, I don't think we could have made it without chains. And we'll get settled in, see what the deal is, and get working on some mining projects. I got a number of things to do. As a matter of fact, going from here up to Helena, there's a mill they were setting up last fall, should be operational now. And I'll stop in there on the way. It's right essentially on the route, and see if I can get some information on whether or not they have any kind of rates yet. And we'd be happy to, Lucas. I said that was fun. Maybe next time we can do a roundup time or something, and Eva can help there. I'm not much use on a horse, but I'm sure Eva will have something to do. But yeah, we had a good time. So that's basically it. And I don't have a whole lot of mining stuff right now to talk about per se. The challenge is this Montana B ore. I'm kind of thinking, Chris, we're probably going to have to go to flotation if we're going to find anything that's going to get past a preliminary direct leaching stage. So I'll be talking to my principal up in Helena about that. If you could email me kind of a guesstimate of what you're going to need to do in terms of assaying, chemicals, things like that, I'd appreciate it. I can maybe get started on something there. I'll also be doing some concentrating and see if I can't separate those chocolate brown heavies and send them off for analysis too. Yeah, Chris, the phone service right here is a bit sketchy. So, and I think that'd be important too. See what's in those brown heavies. Yeah, Kevin, they do make good watchdogs. I think they're also supposed to be pretty tasty. They got more meat on them than a pheasant. It's not a bad idea. I'd like to try a number of different things on that, Chris. So if you have any particular ideas that you think could be done pretty easily. Eva, Lucas wants to hear the peacock call again. She's coming, Lucas. That's her pheasant call.
Peacock.
That's pheasant? That's peacock. Okay, what's a pheasant then?
I don't do pheasants.
Oh, you didn't do a pheasant call?
No.
When we were there,
I only do peacocks.
Okay.
I do peacocks and I do turkeys.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because she doesn't, then I hear it from the cell phone over there where our host is watching. That's hilarious. Yeah. I'm wondering, Chris, on a cyclone where, I would think a lot of stuff's going to report to the heavies in a cyclone, but I don't know. What do you do on that? Do you just run it kind of slow and don't get everything? I'm also going to have to set up some kind of screening that, so I'm only getting 100 mesh minus. I think I'd have to do a pretty tight physical screening on it before we ran it through the cyclone. What do you think, Chris? But yeah, I'd like some detailed ideas on the email if you could, because it's not going to be fun. I don't know where I could find some of those, or whether we just have to make some. It shouldn't be too hard to make some out of PVC. If you know any place that has small cyclones at a good price, I'd like to know, Chris. This stuff we're going to be doing most of our testing in Helena, Poker Face. The bulk stuff that we have is running better than an ounce to the ton. And we're going to be trying a number of different things, basically to see what recoveries we can get and see if there's anything. It appears that the gold in the Montana B ore is either really tightly bound and fine. In other words, it's stuck to something like clay or something like that. It floats really well, that makes it really hard. And so Chris has some ideas on how to break that bonding down. And also the other possibility is that gold is just so darn small that it just doesn't want to settle at all. It can get small enough that it will not settle. You can have colloidal gold, although it's really, really fine. This is probably bigger than that. Not yet, Chris. Yep. By the way, Kevin says that you were a pretty good imitation, little one.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm good at peacock.
I say there's a number of things we haven't tried. Chemical pretreatments before panning to speak of either. Say there's just a lot of things to try out. Luckily, we got 3 or 4 months of winter before we can really get back to the mine anyhow. And I don't know if I'm going to read that to Eva, Rick. You want me to? You it's your choice. Yeah, Chris, that's the idea. We'll try the obvious stuff first. See what happens hither, thither, and yon. See how that guides us further. And then hopefully by the time we can get back to the mine for potentially more material, we'll have a good idea of what we want to do with the material once we get it. So, I mean, a successful project involves a number of different facets. You know, from finding an ore body to actually mining the ore body to processing the ore body to getting rid of your waste products, all these things. And there's just so many different facets that we got plenty to do. I would say in the next 3 or 4 months, especially if you, yeah, that sounds good, Chris. It's a lot of times, for example, we're going to have to send stuff out for assay or send stuff out for multi-element analysis, and that takes time. You know, you got to send it out. Lab's got to process it, send you the results. An assay is, you know, a week basically. Send it off Monday, get the results back Friday with our usual plate. But multi-element analysis is going to run like a month. You know. So I don't see a problem in terms of running out of things to try by the time we can get back to the mine, unless we actually, you know, hit a good technique fairly quickly. I simply don't know. My money's on flotation at this point. I think that it's probably the gold is just so darn fine, but it could be bound to something that's floating, so we'll try some of that too. I'm looking at Chris Georgie's thing here. Renting an XRF. There's also a geophysical place in Helena there, and might be something we could, basically stop in and pay them to do the analyses real quick or something too. That's definitely got possibilities. Then once we get to the mine, then we have to try and identify an ore body. So that's going to be a lot of sampling, a lot of testing there. Most of that we'll probably be able to do. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Chris. Let's say there may be somebody in the area that has one that we can bring samples to also that they could run for us and do it quickly. That might be functional. But we got a lot of sampling to do just to identify any potential ore bodies. And there's always the possibilities of using geophysical or multispectral drones or something like that to try and identify other targets in the mountain near the existing mine. So we have lots and lots of things to do. And we'll proceed as we go. There's lots of options. Unless something just clicks somewhere down the road, it's going to be a lot of testing and this and that. But that ought to make it pretty educational for people watching. Yeah, Rick. Little one?
Yes.
Rick had a run-in with a huntsman the other day that scared him. I won't read you the description. Oh, you want to see it?
You had a run-in with a huntsman, huh?
Yeah. That sounds like a huntsman. This is why I keep saying spiders,
And I don't know, Corey. And I say we can, as long as it's cheap, we can try all kinds of stuff. And so that's basically my idea of what the next 6-12 months is going to look like. In terms of where we go when the snow starts to fall, I don't know. There's potentially stuff in Arizona, but we've got a lot of interesting stuff up here too. I have no major philosophical objection to staying here year round. I have no major philosophical objection to going to the warm weather during the wintertime too. Yeah, I agree, Chris. We'll try these. I like the flotation probably is the first thing. I'm not that familiar with the electrostatics or magnetodynamics to have an opinion on those. But it's something, if it's easy and cheap to try, we could give it a shot. So I say that's basically what the future looks like. Considering what's happening that we cannot discuss, lest we may lose the channel, I'm happy to be up here right now. And it's been fun. Sleeping in the back of the Bago is a little bit tight with the shoulder. I agree, Chris. If we can get even a 10-to-1 upgrade with 90% recovery, it makes a final leaching step so much easier and more profitable. It's not even funny. So I say that's if we could do that, I would be thoroughly happy. Anything better than that is even better. Like a 20 to 1 concentration at 90% recovery would be great. Yeah, Cherokee, try and convince Rick of that. Oh, I'm not even going to think about trying to convince Eva of that. Yes, I would agree, Chris. I mean, if we can just do something to vastly reduce the bulk and then haul the cons to an industrial zone location or something, some private property somewhere where you can do more with less regulation, that would be a huge improvement. But that's kind of what we're looking at trying to do. Luckily, I've got, say, over half a ton of material stockpiled from last fall just for this, just so we can do this kind of testing and play these kind of games and see what happens. Like today with the RP4, I thought, it's probably not going to work, but what the heck? Why not try? I mean, for goodness sakes, it's free. If nothing else, you get information, and so let's say that's it. Never, if it's cheap and easy and safe to try, why not give it a shot? If nothing else, you'll learn why it doesn't work, and that can help guide you somewhere else. And so, say that's basically our plan right now. The stuff here, the gentleman here has, he's got a prospect that has some specimens that show some gold in them that are reasonably good grade, but it's an old mine and access is no longer easily available to any of the ore body. He also has some other stuff that he's found over the years that sounds interesting to go look at and see what might be there. And he also likes to fish a lot, which would just break my heart, I have to go fishing. As a matter of fact, he's going to go ice fishing next week, and I wish I could go with him, but I got work I got to do first. We got to get settled and get me making money. The construction industry up here is going pretty good, so I should not have trouble finding a job that pays enough money to deal with what I got to deal with. But first, I got to find out what my principal wants me to do and how much effort he wants to put in that. If he wants to go full bore on this, that's fine with me. I suspect it's going to be more part-time while we're figuring out how to recover this stuff. A new rock crusher made out of a lawnmower. Yeah, that would work. Now, a lawnmower blade is going to wear out real quick if you're actually crushing rock. Wear rates are going to be pretty high. And direct coupled to the lawnmower engine with a rigid blade like that might cause a lot of vibrational shock, basically, to the engine that may really reduce its life. If you were to take a lawnmower and turn it into a chain mill, that would get rid of that problem. If you could send me some more information on that, Corey, I'd appreciate it. I'm not sure specifically the process you're talking about. Just looking at it, it doesn't ring a bell. If that would work, that'd be great. Electrowinning? Yeah, it's possible. I wonder if you could run that over, say, a carbon plate or something to cause it to drive it into solution. Don't know. That's my guess, just me. Yeah, you say that a direct drive has a problem. That's one reason I've got a belt drive on my crusher. Thank you, Corey. You have my email. I saw, say, a chemical process that used iodine and potassium iodide that dissolves gold really fast too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Electroplating. Yeah. That's where, say, if we could concentrate it, Corey, so that instead of dealing with, say, 1 ounce to the ton, we're dealing with 10 ounces to the ton. All of these things become much cheaper and much smaller, so therefore much easier. So, and that is a um, huge benefit if we can accomplish that, which is why we're focusing so much on the concentration thing first. Yeah, okay. Yeah, electroplating, yeah. Electrowinning is technically the term for when you're attempting to get something out of a solution as opposed to create a film of metal for another purpose. You know, you'd be electroplating gold onto a ring to make it look pretty. You would be electrowinning gold out of a gold cyanide solution in a stripping circuit. You know, so that's basically the difference in terminology. It's the exact same electrochemistry, you know, except in electroplating, you do it under more precise conditions to get a more precise surface, whereas in electrowinning, you're just trying to get it and you don't care. So it can be very, very rough and ugly. The stuff that used to plate on our steel wool out at the Chemgold Picacho mine looked almost like rust. It wasn't very pretty at all, but it was worth a lot of money. Yeah, Chris, I'm thinking the first thing, I'll do some gravity steps. I'll try and get those chocolate brown heavies, enough of them for a multi-element analysis and an assay. And I'll try the new concentrator idea if I can get above freezing. And I've got it ready to go. And then try some flotation. If we haven't come up with a solution by then we can, you know, play the more complicated games. But that's my basic idea. And I say once I talk to my principal there, I can see. I'm not sure. I'm going to need stuff protected from the weather to do some of this. And I know he's got a shop out on the ranch, but I don't know how full it is of stuff. You know, does it have room in it, or is it stacked to the rafters? Whatever. Just not sure. So I don't know where I'm going to go from there. Whether we'd have to. I wonder if I could probably use the Beluga. I could probably set up the concentrator in the Beluga. That might work. You know, need to have a water heater probably to keep it non-frozen. I don't know. I'll find out when I get there. Okay, I can try that, Chris. So at first I got to get some concentrated. And so for that, I'll have to process like, you know, a couple 100 pounds of ore and then pan it would be my thought to get enough to do some testing. But we'll take you guys on for along for the ride here as much as I'm allowed to do by my principal. So I don't know what information and he wants put out there and how much not. With any luck, we'll be building a a small scale mill. And so eventually he would like to have a mill up here where he could even do custom milling. And that might be useful. I also have another gentleman up here, Jim Durst, who he has a polymetallic deposit that he's attempting to exploit along. I don't know if he sold it or leased it or whatever. I don't know. But he's working in cooperation with an Australian outfit. And he said that the next thing is doing some underground sampling as soon as the money comes through, that he could use me for that too, so I could take you along for that. Well, that's our job, Chris, is to make sure the mill is set up for complex ores. The easy stuff is pretty straightforward, but there's a lot of stuff around this whole area in Montana does have a lot of gold hard rock mines, so that's good. I think we could really make something out of this. We'll have to see. I think there's a lot of opportunity up here, and we'll work on developing the technology to efficiently exploit the various opportunities. I'm also very interested in the exploration tools that, like Chris and UltMed might come up with, multispectral imaging from drones and all kinds of interesting things. I actually have a multi-element analysis. Let's see. I don't know about the bandwidth. Has anyone noticed, have we been doing any buffering? Because I haven't heard any. I can try going to I'll get back with you on that, Chris. I've got a multi-element analysis, at least of the Packrat Penthouse stuff. I think I got one of the perpendicular vein too. Yeah, that seems to be going pretty good, especially as this link is also running a TV right now. Thank you, Corey. I'd appreciate that. Yes, UltMed, somebody said drones. Yeah, I know you and Chris are working on stuff, and I got a spot that'd be interesting to use it on too. Because one thing I'd like to know is what's different about the spot where the mine is at versus stuff where they did other mining, but doesn't seem to have been nearly as intense. And see if there's any chemical differences that we could identify. And that might be a useful prospecting tool, because even a small spot of the right material, which is kind of hard to see, might lead to something good, as opposed to big spots of stuff that looks almost the same, but it doesn't have what you really need in it. That's part of what we need to do. I mean, there's a lot of mines over in that area there, but most of them don't look like they were substantial. On the other hand, we might need to drill down to the what do you call it? To secondary enrichment and see what happens there too. Not sure what we could do with directional drilling and stuff also from surface. If we could do it cheap enough, that might come in handy. I know we've discussed it before, but there's just so many different things to look at and try. I wish I was more experienced at this and had done a lot more things, so I'd be better able to refine the search with less information and more specificity, so I could try this, boom, no, okay, do this, and be correct. But, you do what you can. By the way, I'm thinking of letting this grow out during the winter here. I'm going to see how well this helps protect my face. So far, the weather's been bitterly cold for Tucson, but not for Montana. And even I have been holding up pretty good. Got to wear the right clothes, but with the insulated boots and proper coats and stuff, we've been doing okay. No, Chris, I'd never try and look like you. I could never, ever achieve that. So I'm just wondering as to whether or not it'd be I think in most cold climates, beards are grown because they are protective. I've never been in a cold enough climate to worry about it. I was quite pleased that my ears weren't hurting today. I'm hoping that's because my nerves are functional, but the ears weren't that cold as opposed to the opposite. We shall see. My fingers do hurt when they get cold, so I know there's not a neurological deficit there that's going to mislead me. Eva's been doing fine. She loves the scenery around here and like that. So we should do okay in terms of the weather. It's also been unseasonably mild a bit here, but not enormously. So mainly it's lack of storms running through as opposed to hugely warmer than usual, although it is a bit warmer than usual. Let's see. It's possible, Rick. I don't know. Yeah, I say so far it hasn't been bad, Chris. Say it's been down to 10. I've been reasonably comfortable, reasonably functional. The glove, with just the gloves, and it was breezy this morning. The weather report said wind chill -5, and that was reasonably tolerable. Although if I was going to be out in much, I probably should put on the balaclava to protect the ears, and it also works for the nose too. But yeah, that worked. The little buddy worked pretty good keeping the Bago warm. So all of that seems to be doing satisfactorily. It is weird to have to use ice chests to keep stuff from freezing. That's bizarre. If you don't want something frozen, you got to stick it in the ice chest. Holy crap, holy. We're not in Kansas anymore, huh? Yeah, and that's it, Chris. I mean, Eva's got her little flappy-eared hat thing, and she says that keeps her head real warm. Of course, she's got hair, too, which, when trapped underneath, will also provide some insulation, but she seems to be doing just fine. Does anyone have any mining questions at this point? So that's basically all the news, folks. Short of some mining questions or something, I really don't have much more that we can discuss on YouTube. The jackpot video. Trying to think. There's a lead mine thing. Are you talking about the lead mine or something else? Yeah, I saw that. It looks pretty good. What I liked smoking I liked how you turned that pipe into a continuous feeder. What he had, Chris, he had a bank, you know, and then he had a pipe with an open end set at a little angle, and the whole thing is oscillating, so it's driving in and coming back out, and then the bank is feeding down to it. And it made an interesting feeder. I thought that was pretty interesting the way that worked. And it wouldn't be too hard to set something similar up in another situation. And so I thought that was pretty interesting, Smoking. I'm a little tired. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I've been getting plenty of sleep because, gosh, it gets dark at like 5 o'clock. I mean, the sun goes down around 5:15 and comes up around 8 in the morning. So there's plenty of night. Yeah, I've been getting plenty of sleep. I don't know why I'm sleepy here, but it will be nice to get back doing some stuff. It's been kind of fun sitting here, able to play a few mining games, but it was a bit limited under the circumstances with the winter, not wanting to just offload all the equipment and do stuff. But yeah, it's been interesting. And I will have a video on that RP4 in a couple of days here to show you what it looked like that. Thank you, David. Yeah, I say, you know, I'll develop questions and interesting stuff as we go along, and you know, we can discuss things that I did last week or whatever. But I say right now it's just travel time. Got to get from point A to point B, and generally like traveling, not so much just getting from point A to point B. This has been better than, well, like the trip down last fall or up last spring, no, last summer, where it's like just got to get there as quick and easily as we can. This we were able to dawdle a bit and visit a bit and stuff like that, and that made it a lot more fun. So, oh, anything else, anybody? And it's going to be like a record short live stream here. Less than an hour. Holy crap. What can we do? No, I haven't, Corey. I say I just been busy doing the other stuff, the Christmas trees and the fireworks and the getting ready to leave. Yeah, it's been busy. So I say we shall just have to see what comes up. Anything else, anybody? Yeah, street sweeper might work. We're also going to try having a little more structured live streams where we actually have a topic and such. Didn't really prepared for that this week, but that might help keep it a little more focused on mining then. No, you do not deduct improvements off of claim fees that I've ever heard.
Okay, it's right there, that blue box.
Okay, sounds good, Chris. So I'm traveling tomorrow, but then I'll be sitting up there. The improvements you might do off of your annual assessment work, which if you're a small miner, you could do in lieu a claim fee. But it's not that you take it off of the claim fee. It's not like you do $100 worth of assessment work and take that 100 off of your claim fee and then only pay like a $50 claim fee. It's one or the other. You either have to do the required assessment work or pay the required claim fee. You can't combine the two. The numbers are so small though that it's not really an issue. Oh my goodness. Oh, dearie. Anyone else got a question? Oh. Yeah, theoretically in the United States, it's what now, $160 a year assessment work, and there's no, as far as I know, there's no actual time limit on the tenure.
What do you want, baby?
Okay, thank you, Corey.
What do you want?
Not sure what you mean, Poker Face. There's placer mining up here. Some fine, some coarse gold. There's a number of places. There's been a lot of past placer mining up here where they had some pretty good production, some pretty good volumes of gold were recovered, but not too much. Not sure what there is right now, but I know in the past there's been quite a lot. And Jim Durst up there in Helena, he has a lot of experience placer mining here. He's professionally placer mined for I think 10 years up here. So that would be very informative. That may be fun to do a live stream with Jim, and y'all could ask him questions because he's an experienced professional placer miner. So that would be good. That could be another fun thing on live streams, to have guests, knowledgeable guests to provide information. See what we can do. Okay, if I don't see any questions or something in the next minute or so, I think I'll call it a night. 58 minutes. Man, if I can get it done in 2 minutes, well, I think we'll have a new record. I suppose that's what happens when you're not actually mining. Thank you, Smoking. I appreciate it. I thank all the support from everybody, all the attaboys and wishing wells, and I'm sure there have been some prayers along the way here. And we appreciate all that. And we're doing well. We're feeling all right. We're getting along okay with the cold. And we're meeting some more interesting people and having a good time. So thank you all. Happy prospecting and keep it safe out there. Okay.